top athletes also about to start. And first to be introduced to the crowd will be Paul Evans of Belgrave, Britain's top 10,000 runner last year, Olympic finalist, and already selected for the marathon team for this summer's World Championships. One of Scotland's favourites next, number 5. In fact, it's Tom Hanlon from the Edinburgh Racing Club, 6th in the Olympic Games last year, and the number 2 steeplechaser in Europe. The introduction now for the man who's won the World 1500-metre title, the European 1500-metre title twice, the Commonwealth Games 1500-metre title twice, the world mile record holder, Steve Cram from Darrell. And finally, being introduced to the crowd is the man who was twice the world champion at international cross country. He's the reigning Olympic champion at 10,000 metres from Morocco, Khalid Skar. Now on this, from the start, they've got 5 1,000-metre laps plus about 120 metres. The marksman not happy. So 5 1,000-metre laps plus a bit each time to make up the 1,000 metres. In fact, they've got about 100, just a few metres from start to finish. They go around in 5 seconds. And Khalid Skar straight away is dictating the pace. Also up there now is Hezron Makambo, the 17-year-old Kenyan. Brendan Foster.
Well, David, he told you yesterday that he was going to make it hard for Steve Cram and for the rest of the field, and he decided after about 50 metres that's exactly what he was going to do. And he stretched out there, and he looks strong, and he looks good. He was very relaxed today. He's telling us on the way down that his child has come to watch him for the first time ever. He was born in March. And he said it'll be the first time she watches me run, and I'm really pleased about that because it's nice to be in a position where I can be a bit more relaxed. Glancing over his shoulder, looking to see who's there, and all the top Britons are immediately moving alongside him, and Steve Cram in about 5th place. Tom Hanlon alongside Steve Cram, John Nuttall I can see there, and the blonde-haired Paul Evans in 3rd place, who's recovering from his run in the London Marathon, where he was one of the favourites and was very disappointed when a virus overtook him and really flattened him. He couldn't run. In fact, he couldn't run more than about 4 miles in that race. So Paul Evans looking for a good run today. Makambo, the Kenyan, right next to him, and Khalid Skar, he's let them overtake them. He's quite happy where he is on the inside.
Important for Steve Cram to run his own race in many ways, because Skar is obviously out to dictate and really test him and not leave it to a close finish. But he's moved through very easily on the inside, Steve Cram. Paul Evans, wearing number 3, the blonde with the purple shorts. Tom Hanlon wide on the near side. What a marvellous record he's got too. When you look back, 6th in the Olympic steeplechase final. Europe's number 2 in that event, but very, very good on the flat as well.
Actually, I think he's a much underrated athlete, Tom Hanlon. He always gives of his best performance in the World Championships and in the European Championships. And last year, 6th place in the Olympic Games. When you think about the strength of the Kenyans in the Olympic Games, and he was in 6th there. He took on the challenge. He found the conditions in Barcelona very, very difficult, but I thought he ran extremely well, and I thought his sixth place there was one of the better runs by our distance runners in Barcelona.
Number 19, Alan Reid there going through. He's not got much of a background at this level, but my word, he's been very brave indeed. Comes from Peterhead, having his moment here with Khalid Skar and also with 17-year-old Kenyan Makambo. Makambo, by the way, claims an 8:41 steeplechase. Well, they've gone through 1,000 metres and the time 2:44. Brendan.
Well, that's good pace for road running at 5,000 metres. That would bring them home in around about 13 minutes and 40 seconds. And I sense that all the group just behind the leader there are just comfortably running, and the pace will, I think, will increase in the later stages, so they could run inside 13:40 for 5,000 metres, which on the roads here with a hill on each lap would actually be quite a good performance.
Just a word about the nature of the course. It's fairly flat most of the way, but there is a sharp hill, and it is quite sharp, but short. And that's compensated for by a gentle descent of about 200 metres. Very good surface indeed. You wouldn't believe yesterday this was underwater.
And when you look at Khaled Scar on the track, on the country, on the roads, he doesn't mind the surface. He ran a track race last week. He ran a very good 3,000 metres, 7:54 for 3,000 metres, which was a good start to his season. And there, Paul Evans in second place, doing his very best to be competitive. Just behind him, the Kenyan, and then Steve Cram in fifth place there. Just ahead of Steve Cram, Paul Dugdale, who's a very good cross-country runner. He was a bit disappointed with his run in the World Cross Country this year, Paul Dugdale there, number 9 in the white vest with the green stripes. But I think he's looking for a better performance today. He'll be tested over this shorter distance. He would probably be better over a 10-kilometre road race, but this is 5K. And Khaled Scar, he's the boss. He's dictating the race. He's telling them how to do it and what he's going to allow them to do. And when you look at his credentials, he's extremely fast in the later stages. He can run bursts in the middle of races, and like he told us earlier, he can run fast at the start. I think he's the complete distance runner. Probably the world, over the last couple of years, the world's leading distance runner. 5,000 metres, 10,000 metres, and cross-country running. And he told us last night that he's probably going to run the 5,000 metres in the World Championships in Stuttgart to try and add to his medal that he won in the Olympic Games at 10,000 metres. But before that, he's going to attempt a world record in the 10,000 metres.
He's taking no chances with Cram at all. He's going to make this hard, as he said he would, and he's lived up to the promise. Paul Evans now in second place. Cram's right up there, about fourth at the moment. Dugdale's there as well. But he's really pushing it, and he's coming round to complete 2,000 metres. Scar, only 26 still, married to a Norwegian. He's got his 10 weeks old baby here with him, seeing him race for the first time. Well, seeing him perhaps is not right. I think we can see her asleep.
And that second lap was exactly the same time as the first lap, 2 minutes 44 seconds, 5:28 for 2,000 metres. Now the race is on, and they're moving along at a pace. And when you get this close to them on a road race, you really see how fast the runners go. And I think the crowds quite enjoy the fact that they're up so close. We're just looking further down the field. I'm seeing Peter McColgan, Liz's husband, running quite well in the middle of the field. And that's this is his first international race for about 2 years. So you remember Peter made the team, the World Championships in the steeplechase in Tokyo, the time when Liz won the gold medal in the 10,000 metres. Well, he's on his way back as the leaders go through the start of lap 3. And Khaled Scar, he just stretches, and then he looks over his shoulder. And Paul Evans is running a good race in second place. Steve Cram there, Paul Dugdale, and then Makambo of Kenya.
The crowd a little disappointed. Tom Hanlon's lost his place completely and is going backwards at the moment. There's Tom Hanlon way back. And Khaled Scar, well, doing what distance runners should do, run even pace. They've got a stopwatch between the ears, some of these boys.
That's right, and he's also really good at checking what's going on behind him. He's used to running against the Kenyans. He's probably the only athlete who takes the Kenyans on at their own race, at their own style. And Paul Evans is working very hard in second place. Paul was gutted by his performance in the London Marathon because he was ill beforehand, because he really felt as though he could run well there. And look how fast, you can see how fast they're going when you get that close to them. Steve Cram moving into third place there, and Paul Dugdale in fourth. Now they come almost halfway, and this is the test for Cram. This is the second part of the race. We know he's good over a mile, and now we're going to find out whether he's going to be, as in his own words, competitive over 5,000 metres. That's what he's looking for today.
Well, he was saying at a forum last night that this really is a proving year for him. He wants to find out what he can do. He's not expecting actually to do outstanding things, but he's running very well indeed today. He's keeping going extremely well, and his aim now will be Paul Evans, I suspect. But he said if I can mature at 5,000 metres this year, well, of course I've got the European and the Commonwealth Games next year. On Scar, is approaching the completion of his 3,000 metres. It'll be fascinating to see what sort of time he's done on this third section.
I noticed he accelerated quickly up that hill. He really dug in up the hill, and he's now stretching out. He's looking good. He's looking strong, and he's just gone through 3,000 metres in about 8 minutes and 13 seconds. So again, that third lap was almost the same time as the first and second lap. 8 minutes 13, which is 2:45 for that 1,000 metres, which means that they went 2:44 for the first 1,000 metres, 2:44 for the second 1,000 metres, and then 2:45 for the third 1,000 metres.
What a demonstration of timing and front running. Paul Evans in second place, chosen already for the World Marathon Championships for Great Britain. Well, Paul had an indifferent London Marathon. He had to drop out, but he started with a slight virus problem, which he tended to ignore, but it turned out to be worse than he thought. But he's getting his way back now. And there's a great British battle going on there behind Scar. That's Paul Evans, there's Steve Cram, and behind him, coming back to form, Paul Dugdale of Horwich, running in one of his best races on the road. Been very good over the country. He's the reigning inter-counties cross-country champion. But he's digging in there behind Cram.
Well, when Scar jogged around the course just before the race, he said, I'm going to be careful on that hill. But when I just noticed him going up the hill last time, he really accelerated. Paul Evans, though, it's good to see Paul coming back to form. Paul has already been selected, as David Coleman said, for the World Championships for the marathon, but he harbours the idea of running in the 10,000 metres. So his next race after this today will be the 10,000 metre trials at the British Championships at Crystal Palace on the 12th of June, and he's going to try and make the team for the 10,000 metres. He'd prefer that opportunity because he feels that last year was a learning year for him at 10,000 metres, and he thinks that he's, if he's as strong as he thinks he is, then he can run a good competitive race at 10,000 metres.
It's quite impressive how well he's hanging on to Scar, who's come here in very good form indeed. He's been at altitude training, tested himself last week in Norway, where he lives, and ran 7:54.97 for 3,000 metres. So he feels he's in very good form indeed. And he's confirming that today. But Paul Evans now getting away from Steve Cram, who's beginning to suffer a little bit. But Dugdale right behind Cram.
Well, this is a crucial part of the race for Steve Cram. They're coming up with just over a lap to go, and he's working hard up that hill. Dugdale is a good hill runner, good cross-country runner, good road runner, just behind Cram, and Cram is being competitive here, but Scar has run away from this field, looking stronger as the race goes further, putting on a show, but putting on a test for the others. And Paul Evans is running well in second place. We can see Paul Evans keeps glancing over his shoulder. I think he's safely clear of Cram, but there's going to be an interesting race in third and fourth place with Steve Cram and Paul Dugdale.
Well, they're through 4,000 metres. We'll get the time in a moment. But Dugdale just tracking Cram. I think Cram would fancy a sprint finish against a cross-country international. And again, 2:45. The 1,000 metre split so far as they go into the last lap. 2:44 on the first, 2:44 on the second, 2:45 on the third, and believe it or not, 2:45 on the fourth.
Well, I think that's the way Scar enjoys to run, and I think that's what's hurting both Evans and Cram. A persistent application of pace, poured it on at the beginning and then just applied it and applied it. Now this is going to be a test for Steve Cram. It's also a good return to form by Paul Evans. Good to see him coming back. And Cram realises he's got about 800 metres to go. This is the bit of the 5,000 metres that's important. He looks strong though, he's run a good race, and Dugdale behind him has run a fine race too, and let's see how they battle it out over the later stages. But this has been a class performance by Khaled Scar, showing the world that he's back this year as he was last year, and he says the world record for 10,000 metres is my target this year, and don't be surprised if you see me try to win the 5,000 metres in the Olympic Games, in the World Championships.
Paul Evans, well, it's a very impressive return to form after that illness. He ran in one of the Castle road races last week. But Steve Cram's in trouble, look. He's in real trouble. I think he's absolutely stopping. And I wonder if he's got an injury problem yet again. Just coming up there in the background is Bacambo, the 17 years old Kenyan, and Cram. Well, he's found out what his problems are now.
Well, he was running well for 4,500 metres, and now obviously he's struggling with it. Looks like, to me, it looks like his calf. He seems to be putting his foot down very gingerly. He's trying to keep going, but the race is all over for Steve Cram. And look at Scar attack that last hill. He's shown the further the race has got, the stronger he's got. And what a performance by Khalid Scar. And I think he will shake the world this year. He says, I'm not interested in the Moroccan team beating the Kenyan team. People ask me that question very often. I'm interested in Khalid Scar beating everyone else.
He's really reveling in this. He's enjoyed himself throughout the trip with his family. And look at that, winging his way home. Going to be well inside 14 minutes. And that is very, very impressive indeed on this course. Storming home, a brilliant piece of pace running. 13:38 the time approximately. Paul Evans in a clear second place now. And Dugdale in third, but the young Kenyans just behind him, Macambo. Macambo and Dugdale having a great race for third place. Paul Evans looks back, he's safe, and finishes in 13:57 approximately. Dugdale, a good sprinter finish from Horwich, he's third. Macambo is in fourth place. And in fifth place is Martin Jones, also of Horwich. Next, number 26 is John Nuttall of Preston. And then we've got a bit of a gap. So, Gary Gerrard going through, followed by Bristow. Next is Darrell Smith of Blackheath. Mark Hudspeth. And Steve Cram just jogging in. I think McColgan's just finished. Cram just jogging in. Whether he was wise to continue is a question mark. Tom Hanlon finished alongside him. And incidentally, we've now got the last 1,000 metres for Scar. And believe it or not, he ran it in 2:40. So there's an example. 2:44 for the first 1,000 metres. 2:44 for the second. Then 2:45 for the third. 2:45 for the fourth. And like the good athlete he is, he sprinted home in 2:40. The winning time, 13:38. A check on the 1, 2, 3. Khalid Scar, the favourite.